Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening to talk about resources for small contractors, hosted by the Urban Redevelopment Authority, the URA, and Riverside Center for Innovation. We appreciate you coming out and spending your evening with us tonight. Just to do a quick round of introductions, my name is Pierce Robinson. I'm the manager of Diverse Business Solutions. Our other speakers include Esther Clay, who's the Avenues of Hope project manager, Sienna Kane, who's our lending analyst, who will be discussing our line of credit, Lynette Morris, who's our program assistant and our primary person of contact, and Juan and Doug from Riverside Center for Innovation. And we also have additional URA staff to answer any additional questions that may come up about our line of credit, Avenues of Hope, RFP process, or any of the other tools that the URA offers. So just to give everyone some background about the URA, we are the Urban Redevelopment Authority. We are the economic development arm of the City of Pittsburgh's government. Our mission and vision is that we exist to support the City of Pittsburgh's economic development goals, which are designed to create a city of inclusive opportunity for residents, stakeholders, and communities. So some of our priorities, I know that a lot of people, when they think about or hear about the URA, they think about development and construction and different things like that. But there's a lot of things that we do. Some of those things include, creating more affordable housing in the city for, all Pittsburghers. So, they can all become homeowners. We encourage entrepreneurship and small business development, which is the things that we'll be talking about tonight with our programs. We promote inclusive growth and quality job creation. We expand neighborhood and main streets revitalization efforts, which is the driving force behind our Avenues of Hope initiative. We're also working on developing a talented workforce that are equipped with the skills that will be able to deliver for the jobs of the future. So I'll turn it over now to Esther to talk about Avenues of Hope.
Thank you, Pierce. Avenues of Hope is a holistic model for rebuilding Pittsburgh's Black main streets. It's a people-based, people-first approach. We'll focus on 7 major business corridors, which you'll see in the upcoming presentation. And our goal is to invest in small businesses, residents, and supporting inclusive growth within those neighborhoods. Next slide. Avenues of Hope, as I mentioned, is a place-based, people-first approach. Avenues of Hope will be Black-owned, will center on Black arts and culture, mixed-use, transit-oriented, and pedestrian and bike-friendly, of course. Healthy communities supported by education, healthcare, and of course, human supportive services will be a large part of that support as well. Next step. Here's an overview. It's a screen grab actually from our website. If you go to the URA website and select Avenues of Hope, we have a landing page and then individual links to each corridor. So if you want to see information on a specific corridor, you can just click on the link and our interactive map will emerge, and I'll actually show you all the current URA investments in that corridor. Now, some of these investments predate Avenues of Hope, but in general, it has every investment that the URA has so far in each corridor. And it's updated quarterly, so we should have it up to date to Q3 of this year. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Lynette Morris if you want to learn more. But just a quick overview, you can see all 7 corridors. That's Perrysville Avenue, Chartiers Avenue, Center Avenue, Larmer, Homewood, Warrington, and 2nd Avenue. And if you notice under each of the avenues, there's a designation of the neighborhoods that they're in. So for example, Perrysville Avenue in Perrysville includes Perrysville North and South. Chartiers Avenue actually includes the entire 3-mile corridor, which is Sheridan, Elliott, and Wingate. So in this presentation, we'll be referring to each of the avenues as well as the neighborhoods within those avenues. Next slide. In addition to the program itself, we've worked on eliminating barriers. We understand that finance and access to capital aren't the only tools necessary to ensure equal access. So we've created strategic partnerships with neighborhood allies and other community-focused organizations like Riverside Center for Innovation. We also hold building capacity workshops that basically increase the knowledge base for potential respondents. So similar to this, where we have webinars teaching you about financing tools, we have webinars about almost anything and everything related to the URA. So we're building that portfolio out, and you'll see once this webinar is done, it'll actually be on our website under our resource library. We also provide technical assistance. We also recently provided the first source center. It's a one-stop shop for employment and job readiness, which is actually located in the Hill District. And our goal is to expand those first source centers to not only provide employment opportunities, but to ensure that we have the workforce of tomorrow. We've also hired a full-time workforce development staff person, and they've been working diligently to ensure that we build that workforce development ecosystem. And of course, this is a big one, switching from RFQs to RFPs. We found that it's really difficult to, as a first-time respondent, to respond to RFQ. So we've switched over to a more inclusive, less comprehensive process so that folks can get a foot in the door, and then also learn how to, learn the ropes to responding to RFQs versus RFPs. And through that, we've been able to reach a lot of MWB and first-time respondents. Next slide.
Thanks, Austere. And hi, everyone. My name is Sienna, and I'll be talking about the Small Contractor Line of Credit, which is a program available within Avenues of Hope. The Small Contractor Line of Credit supports construction companies that require access to capital for residential or commercial projects in Avenues of Hope. The line of credit can be renewed annually. And just to note that once a project is completed within an Avenues of Hope neighborhood, the line of credit can be used in other neighborhoods throughout the city of Pittsburgh. And then again, just as a reminder, the 7 Avenues of Hope are here in Perry, North and South, Perrysville Avenue, Chartiers Avenue, Center Avenue in the Hill District, Larmer Avenue, Homewood, Warrington Avenue in Allentown and Beltshoover, and 2nd Avenue in Hazelwood. The small contractor line of credit can support 90% of a submitted and approved project invoice between $25,000 and $100,000. Applicants must have a proven track record of project completion, which would include references and information about 3 jobs that have been completed, and have an annual revenue between $50,000 and $2 million. Applicants must be registered. Their business must be registered in the city of Pittsburgh, and they must be in good standing with their taxes. Appropriate permits and regular inspections are required for this line of credit, and priority will be given to minority and women-owned businesses or businesses whose owners are economically disadvantaged. So borrowers are approved for the line of credit based on past performance and having the contract in an Avenue of Hope neighborhood. As the draw schedule begins with the project, those payments will be applied to the URA loan to repay the loan. The line of credit amount is based on the contract amount, which is part of the application process. And the URA will pay off accrued interest and pro rata portion of the outstanding principal, and the remaining of the funds will go to the borrower. When the contract is paid in full, the line of credit is paid in full. Once the contract is complete for the Avenue of Hope neighborhood, the borrower can apply to renew the line of credit with URA for a contract for another Avenue of Hope project or a project that's located in another neighborhood within the city of Pittsburgh. The line of credit will be reviewed annually and can be renewed annually as well. The interest rate can adjust annually, and borrowers will be notified in advance while they're working with their lending analyst. And if the line of credit is not renewed and there's an outstanding principal due, the line of credit will revert to a loan term with a monthly repayment schedule. And just to put the tool in some context, this is a recent borrower, Concrete Rose, who used the small contractor line of credit. Tina Daniels is the owner of Concrete Rose. It is an MWBE business, and they asked for a $100,000 line of credit, which aligned with a $300,000 signed contract within an Avenue of Hope. The line of credit will be used to assist with working capital related to the construction of the project on Larmer Avenue, which is the designated Avenue of Hope corridor. The distributions will be made at set interviews throughout the length of the line of credit and upon evidence of proper permits and inspections in accordance with the scope of work and the draw schedule, which Tina has worked out with her lending analyst. Concrete Roast has a history of continued growth while managing expenses and maintaining an annual revenue between 50,000 and 2 million and 2 million. So if you'd like to get started on our contractor and applying for our line of credit and you're a contractor, you can check out our website or connect with Lynette Morris, who is our point of contact, and she can give you some information about the program and connect you with a lending analyst. If you wanted to start gathering your financial documentation and references for the project, keep in mind we ask for up to three references, and that we are looking for a contract that was within an Avenues of Hope neighborhood. So you can begin to do some of that due diligence before you apply. And our application is available online as well.
Thanks, Sienna. Just some really quick housekeeping. Please keep yourself on mute while the presenters are speaking. We will answer questions in the chat, and we will answer them in order that they were received. So we want to give another special thanks to our partners over at Riverside Innovation, Juan and Doug and his team. I just want to give a quick overview before they jump into their presentation. So for those who aren't familiar, RCI, Riverside Center for Innovation, helps pre-venture, startup, and existing businesses acquire tools in order for them to, move forward and progress. They have a really, really cool BizFit program that's excellent. They're located on the north side. Like I said, Juan Garrett, he's the executive director. His information is here. So, if you want to learn more about Riverside Center for Innovation, please reach out to Juan, check out the website, and just definitely connect. They're really, really great organization. So from here we will move on to Doug.
Thanks, Juan. I'm here. Well, I'm a consultant to the Northside Industrial Development Company, also known as the Riverside Center for Innovation, and I'm going to talk about one particular issue that you might run into in renovating old buildings. And by old, I mean anything really built before the 1980s could have asbestos in everything from the ceiling tile to the plaster to the caulking around windows to the mastic used to glue floor tile. And our program through the US EPA can test for that asbestos at no cost to you as part of a project. So it'll do 100% of the cost to do the test.
Hold on.
Hello? Oh, I don't know, I got some background noise there. So it pays for 100% of the cost to do any asbestos or lead-based paint testing on any of the properties that you'd be looking at as part of a redevelopment. So in addition, if you run into properties such as former laundromats or gas stations, this program can also pay for what's called phase 1 and phase 2 environmental assessments of the soil and of the groundwater. So just think environmental. If you run into any environmental issues on any of your renovation projects through this program funded by the US EPA to the Northside Industrial Development Company, we have funding, 100% funding to do the testing to make sure, and that'll ensure whether you have an issue with asbestos, lead-based paint, or some other environmental issue on a property. As an aside, we also have some funding under the same program. This is really more for the URA's, perusal, but we have funding that can pay for reuse planning in some of these districts. Everything from market studies to rendering, site plans, infrastructure analysis. The funding for that part of our program is running a little low, but we do have some available funding for potentially one of the Avenues of Hope districts. So that's my presentation. Just think environmental. If you have an environmental issue, we do have funding to do the testing to make sure either way, whether you might have an environmental issue on one of your properties.